guidance in a world of uncertainty. Within our universe, a mighty star shines bright over us and reflects itself to enlighten our darkness. It is from that star that our very molecules are born, boundless and bright. That mighty star commands a universe of stars that bear witness to our history and are attached to our ideas of the future. In these stars, we find our beginnings. In these stars, we learn of our endings. God.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of In the Stars with Dwayne. I think we're on, and we are here, of course, with Stacy, the Black Feather Intuitive, as usual. And you are in Phoenix now, right?
I am Phoenix, Arizona, where it's nice and bright and sunny and cheery and awesome.
Stacy, what would this show be without its awkwardness?
I don't
The
think it
only
would be
thing
much of
awkward is all
anything.
the shit you say about being awkward. I don't get it.
Wait, like he's fried today.
What are these
That's what I said. I
talking
said,
about?
Dwayne, I think you've been smoking a little something. I want a little bit of what you're smoking.
No, my lungs gave up years ago. I took a gummy, and it's the most wonderful thing. And if people are not taking gummies, I don't know what's wrong with them. They're really missing out. But it helped me today, and I got a massage. You see, I recently moved, and I pulled my whole right side out, and
Oh, no.
yeah, and I had this massage, and it just was this unbelievable, strong, amazing thing. So I'm living life to the fullest. And this kind of situation brings me more focused into what we talk about on this show. So I'm
Awesome.
happy about it. I'm sorry it's awkward for you, but you know what? Go fuck yourselves, okay? I'm having a good time.
So last year, he's mailing it in. All right.
No, but it looks like you guys are having fun too. Now, Stacy, your freaking skin looks beautiful. I'm in a new
Oh,
place.
thank
I'm
you.
trying to figure out this lighting, and I want to get mine to look like yours.
Well, I have to tell you, I moved into like the home that I'm living in now. It's south facing, so
Mhm.
I get east to west sun. So I have sun all day long. And right now, like it's 4 o'clock where I'm at, 4:04, and the sun is going to set in about an hour and 20 minutes or so.
It's
So
like,
I just try to plan to do all of my stuff right in front of the window, and it seems to really work.
yeah, it looks really beautiful. I'll tell you from this end.
Thank
Um, so, boy, what a year it has been. I don't know. I know that you and I have been through huge changes physically, geophysically and all of this stuff. But then
Yeah.
you put all the metaphysical stuff that has happened throughout this year, and all of the energetically just once in a lifetime things. And, oh, this is,
Yeah,
sorry.
2024 is definitely an unprecedented year on so many levels.
Yes. And I believe that it's been all the precursor to 2025. Everything has led, I think, to this moment. And 2025 is going to be really an unbelievably great year, I think, for everyone. But a reading I got when I was 18, the woman told me 25 is going to be big for you. And I thought, because I was 18 at the time, I thought, oh, that means when I'm 25. But 25 came and went, and the only thing I did at that time was stand up, and it wasn't that great. It was whatever. So I thought, man, she couldn't be right. And then all of a sudden, I realized maybe it's 2025, and that seems to be where everything has been leading. I've
Mm,
needed to become this person and go through the things I've been through this year in order to become this person to be able to go to the place that I want to be. So
yeah.
I'm really happy. And I think that's been not just for Sagittarians or for me, but I think the overall has been manifest and create your reality.
Yep.
That's the key to everything. I work with foster kids, foster youth. Some of them are over 25, and I still call them kids. But you know, um, the main thing is to keep them thinking about what is the next thing, not where did you come from, where are you going. And this should be, I think,
Right.
everybody's goal this year is to make it happen now. Maybe you spent this year figuring out that's what I want, because I think isn't that the hardest question? You ask somebody what they want, they're like, I have no clue.
Oh, absolutely. And I get that all the time. I agree with you. I like for me, it's the hindsight. Ironically, I'm the psychic and I'm having the hindsight, not the foresight, but having the hindsight 2024 has really been foundational in a collective way as well as an individual way for me. And you're right about the forward movement and the co-creation. That's been something that's been coming up for me for 6 or 7 months now. And
Yeah.
I have been really called, drawn to, driven to create and to speak languaging to my clients, to my peeps about it's not about manifesting. Manifesting was the foundational sort of level to things. It's the
Right.
co-creation. And now here how we are seriously going to co-create, and we need to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
We can absolutely just let all of this energy pass us by.
Mm-hmm.
Say you don't want to, because this energy is actually going, it's because, okay, let's talk about it. It's chaos. It's chaos. It's the energy of chaos. And we are Pluto in Aquarius coming into, very soon we're going to be coming into an Aquarian moon in another month and a half or 2 months or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Everything is about that beating to the tune of your own drum. But you will be left behind if you are not choosing to engage in that way. And so I'm like shouting it from the rooftops, co-create, co-create, co-create. And you know what? I'm not great at it. I'm not great at it yet. I'm having to work it every single day, but I feel like that's where a lot of us are at. How do we work with the chaos? A lot of people like to stay away from the chaos. They avoid the chaos. This is something that we can't avoid as a collective. So we've
Right.
got to get in there. We got to get our hands dirty, but we will find that that chaotic energy is what is going to propel us to those forward visions.
Well, you know what else I've been feeling a lot lately is duality. Is something that's very uncomfortable for people, humans, especially Americans, but mostly any civilization. I think it's hard for people to understand that duality exists. If you love something, you might also hate it for another
Yeah.
reason. If you feel like things are great, you might also feel like you're not good enough. These dualities happen, and they happen in every aspect of life. And rather than having this fight of which one's right, what really is the best thing to do is to say both of them are. Sometimes at 2
Both
o'clock,
and.
I'm good enough. At 5 o'clock, I'm a piece of crap. At 6 o'clock, I'm on top of the world. And at 9 o'clock, I just don't know why I even exist.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
Like-
yeah. Yeah.
But-
You're making me think of I talk about the river of life and being given, like the divine gives you a raft with an
Yeah.
oar, and you're
Yeah.
supposed to get on the raft, and you're only supposed to use the oar when necessary, but otherwise just let the river take you where it wants to take you. It's going to show you all these little eddies and these little juts, and if there's somewhere that you want to check out, then you can put your oar in the water, steer yourself over there, take a little break, and then get back on the raft and let the river take you. It's about flow, and it's about letting go of resistance. It's about surrender this year, and not surrender as in I give up, more about surrender as in source. You are, I don't want to say more powerful than I am, because we all are aspects of source and divine sparks of source. It's our monkey mind, it's our belief systems that tell us that we're not powerful. So lean into what you know. All right, source. All right, guides, you have the full scope of everything that's going on. I only have this little tunnel vision up here. So just bring to me what the fuck I need. And I'm going to just accept that whatever shows up in my path, good, bad, or ugly, is what the fuck I need.
That's what the fuck she needs.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? It's like little old Southern women have a saying for it. They say, let Jesus take the wheel. Okay? And that's what it is. It's like letting whatever your source of power is, take over and say, whatever you have for me, I think that's what is good for me, instead of this fight. Because what you said, that's another duality. When you want something, desire it, wish for it constantly, it goes away from you. When
Yeah.
you decide that something is fine the way it is, it comes at you. Or if you don't want it towards you, it comes at you. So you have to learn. It's like learning how to drive with a wheel, you know? So,
Yes.
and I think, this time of the year, especially this year, like we said, with all of this astrologically and, astronomical stuff happening in the world, and I always say it's like a combination lock. The planets are moving around us, the moon is moving around us, and this is the planet. And so it's this connection of things happening, and sometimes it's just this wild, amazingly, everything syncs up, and you can feel that through your body as it washes over the earth. So that's,
Yeah.
I think, the key to understanding how to live in the physical world. It's the mental world we have a big problem with, you know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and especially this time of year, for anybody who's an air sign, like a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, your minds might be going completely nuts and you're not sure what to do. Best thing to do is to understand you already have it all figured out. There's nothing to figure out. You're so smart that everything already has come to you and it's there. Just allow it to show itself. The fire signs are having a great time. I can say from experience. I'm a Sagittarius and I feel like I'm 18 again and I'm almost 50. So I can't believe how things just turn around, and things can be really great if you let them. And I wished for things to be great. Not wished, I manifested, because instead of saying, "Oh, I wish things would be great for me," I was like, "Thank you. Things are great. Thank you for making things great." As though it had already happened. And within an instant, it showed up for me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I'm feeling so blessed, and everybody should, especially the fire signs, like I said. You water signs, you may be having issues, medical issues, feelings of emotional issue, things like that. Just make sure your friends and loved ones are around you to take care of you. That's the key for you, to be making sure that that support is there. And then who do we have left? We had air. Oh, the earth signs.
Earth.
Well,
Earth sign.
you earth signs. This might be a little bit of a crazy time of year for the earth signs because they like things to be regimented. And as we know, you make plans to go somewhere, all that stuff, it all gets messed up. And then when the plans are messed up, the earth signs are like, why even do the plan then? So I have a little of this. I'm a Capricorn rising, so I have a bit of that energy sometimes, but I've learned to let it go and say, wherever the chips may fall, that's where they're going to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, that's the only way to really kind of harness your peace after
Yeah,
a while, is to really just be like, okay, what can I really control
yeah,
and what can't I control? And
right.
the only thing I can control is my response to what shows up in my path. That's the
Exactly.
only thing I'm in control of. Everything else is, and my choices, obviously, I'm in control of my
But
choices.
But you know what? Sometimes you don't have a choice. I look at these people in other countries, in the Middle East, or whatever, these families who have nothing to do with any government or whatever. They're just living their life and they find themselves in these horrific situations
Yeah.
and this loss and pain. And while I'm not at all saying that there's anything that good that comes from that, but in the duality, there is this understanding, I think, from a lot of people of that perception. And that is going to be also your air signs this time of year are going to be starting to really feel this compassion and this kind of stuff. So, that's the kind of thing that's really heartwarming, for this time of year. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Now in January, it's a different story.
Right. Yeah.
Get the hell out of my face. But yeah, this time of year, the Sagittarius time of year into Capricorn, you air signs. I mean, I think you're having a great time, and
Yeah.
I wonder, uh, do we have anybody who wants a reading?
Well, before we go there, I
Yeah,
would like to actually touch upon something that a lot of people, I think, are concerned about
yeah.
astrologically, which is the Mars retrograde.
Mm.
So, can you give us some pointers or some food for thought on how we can navigate that, and maybe go either through each of the signs or go through the elements? But I know for me, like, I'm concerned about what that looks like because it
Yeah,
hits in our relationships.
right. And how we deal with stress, how we deal with competition, with all of the aspects of war,
Mm,
all of the aspects of, because Mars is very much the sign of if you're not on my side, then you are on the other side and you must be destroyed.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's the planet of war and all of this kind of thing. And so it can be very intense. The retrograde is giving it kind of a softness. So there's nothing to worry about. In fact, it's a really great thing that this retrograde actually is pulling back what would normally be in this time of fire into Earth. Very, very um, blazed, like empowered, a lot of
Hmm.
fire energy, warlike stuff. And it's been softened by the Mars retrograde. So I
Okay.
think that's a really great way to think about it. The only thing, like you said, is going to be the how you react to situations. And the problem with this is it happens so quick. It's like that little guy in that animated series where they're in the brain, and the little guy has the red head and he gets angry, and he's fire. It's so
Yeah.
quick like that you have to be careful how you respond to people. And so that's the big thing I would say. Just be conscious of people that you work with, people that you love, people that you live with. If something comes up and you immediately feel that, what the hell are you saying? Just be like,
Think
let me
before
take a
you
breath.
speak.
Yeah.
That
That's
cartoon is that
your,
cartoon is called Inside Out.
That's
yes,
right. Inside Out. I knew it was a Disney movie, and I kept seeing joy in my mind. Joy.
yeah.
So,
That movie is, I think it's a miracle movie, and I think it's going to tell the future of so many people. It's
Well,
just
well,
what
it's
they
it's a great
do.
movie to help empaths understand themselves. Quite
Yeah.
frankly.
well, and,
And
and
humans
everyone
understand
else too.
those different sides.
Everyone
Yeah.
else too who doesn't realize that there's no such thing as a bad emotion. It's what you do with those emotions that are
Yeah.
bad.
Right.
Every emotion is necessary. They spent the entire movie trying to get rid of sad. It was the very thing that they needed.
Yeah.
Someone dies. We go to a funeral. We talk afterwards. We eat. You run into people you haven't talked to in forever, cousins and nephews, and you reconnect and you laugh. And so it's always a necessary thing. All your emotions are necessary.
Yeah.
It's I second that emotion, Keone.
Well, what's really interesting too is this has been coming up a lot. There's that trombone. This has been coming up a lot too, the topic of ego. And, there's a real school of thought out there from a metaphysical perspective that we need to cut our egos out. And I disagree fully. I feel like we need to integrate the ego, but also understand how much of our subconscious choices or our conscious choices are being affected by the subconscious underlying threads of ego, and ego represents our fears. And so like you were saying, Keone, we need all of the feelings and emotions. We also need the ego, but we need to rebalance and repurpose the ego in our lives in order to I don't want to say achieve wholeness, because we are whole. We are whole and complete just as we are. It's the perception of it. It's the belief from within that, oh, this is what wholeness feels like to me. And I don't have to cut things out of who I am naturally. I need to integrate. I need to love. I need to forgive self and others in order to be able to move forward and to shine my light and shine it brightly.
Yeah, and it's not hard if you have some compassion for everybody, even the people that try to hurt you. Like that happens to me. Even if someone's shitty to me in the store, I'm like, they're probably having the worst day of their life. Who knows? They could have lost somebody, their cat. They could have stubbed their toe. Who knows? And I forgive them. I'm like, whatever. And even people like my mother, I had to forgive. And at 35, I had to say she was just a human being doing what she could. That's why she had to put me in foster care. And I went through all this stuff. That wasn't her fault. That was a human being doing what she could. And then
Right.
immediately, then we became best friends. I was just saying, before she died 3 years ago, we had about 15 years of my mom being my best friend, where I would take her, get her hair done, get her makeup done, push her around in a wheelchair. We laughed so much. She would piss her pants everywhere we went. Like, it was just hysterical.
Well, that's actually, it's a funny story, but it's a joyful story to hear that you
Yeah.
were able to sort of transmute that. And I
And
wish I could say I was awesome at that. I'm not. I'm a work in progress with that. But there have been several experiences where I've been able to connect in that way. One of the ways I'm thinking about is my father.
yeah.
And he's still with us today. But
What's
I
your sign? You're a Virgo, right?
yeah,
Gemini
Virgo,
rising,
Libra rising, Gemini
Libra
moon.
rising. Oh, okay, Gemini moon. So lots of air there surrounding Earth. And then
Yes.
what's your father?
So my father is a Virgo, but he acts a lot like a Libra because his birthday is the 21st of September. So he's
So
literally right on that cusp. But I know that's a hot topic. Some people are like, you are what you are. And other people are like, well,
yeah,
you can be both. But I see that that's where he and I connect a lot is in
yeah,
our approaches to things like in the day to day. Like he's neat. I'm neat. Although he's a pack rat. I'm not a
yeah,
pack rat, but he's
yeah.
neat about the things that he has. Things
And
are in a particular order.
he's a Libra, so he probably does. Was he all about when you were little, teaching you about respect and about how a man should treat you and how things like that and all that kind of stuff, or was it
Well,
more?
it
No.
was it was kind of an abusive home and he was trying to figure his shit out.
Mm,
And there was just, I mean, I grew up in a very typical Gen X environment where not that all Gen X homes had the fighting and the trauma that I had, but that idea that basically I kind of raised myself.
right.
So my dad, when he was present,
Hmm.
like he wasn't absent physically, but he was drinking and drugging and smoking. And
So
my mother was absent a lot because first they both worked full-time jobs. And then my mom's my mom, her focus, entire focus was my dad.
what was her
So
birthday?
she's a Sag, November
Ah,
28th.
Sag
And
and
she's
Libra.
the day of the lone wolf. And man, oh man, is she ever a lone wolf. I mean,
Yeah,
she is the most introverted person I have ever met. She's perfectly fine. Like she can go for months without seeing another human being and be completely fine. Like
yeah,
she's just so on her own. And then she goes out once and she's like, I'm good. I'm recharged now for the year. Like I got this.
yeah.
So I would say in my circumstances, my dad taught me a lot of like resourcefulness. My father's
Mm.
super creative, and
Ah,
he's the kind of person that, like, I came home one day. This is a great example. It was Halloween, and we had to come up with our Halloween costumes. And my mom was a typical 40 hours a week working, and then she would come home and she would just have nothing for anybody
what
else
did she
because she
do?
was fighting with her dad. She was a nurse.
Oh,
And
oh,
so her idea was to go to the drugstore and buy me the plastic bag with the plastic mask and call it a day.
yeah,
One day, or one Halloween, I came home from school and I told my dad that we were having this Halloween costume contest. And I really wanted to win it. And I had the idea that I wanted to be a ruler. And I said, I didn't want to be a ruler with a crown and a wand. I wanted to be like the meter stick, a ruler. And can he help me to create this costume? And he did. We went to the fabric store. We bought some fabric. He found a box. We cut the thing out. So like he was great about stuff like that. And he didn't know how to do any of that. There was no YouTube that you could look up or
right,
Google to get information or instructions on anything. He just was that creative and that resourceful that he was like, okay, I'll figure the shit out as I go.
yeah.
So I don't want to give you the impression that my father is, a horrible person. It was just, it was just convoluted. So
Well,
we
I
had a
say
lot
more
of
than
shit to
that. So
work through.
he was doing the best he could that he knew
Yes.
how. You know.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And you're stronger for all of that
Oh,
trauma and all that, and so am I.
not at
Like
all.
I feel really strong, and I don't need a lot to get by, and I don't need a lot of space and all this kind of stuff that people are like giving up their lives for, just to have all this material stuff and this
Mhm.
sense of security. I guess it is, but is anything really secure? Haven't we learned?
Yeah.
That
No, it's an
all
illusion.
things
It's the great
are things.
illusion.
Yeah, it's all an illusion to get you to buy insurance upon insurance upon insurance. Oh, here we go. So let's see. We've got someone who wants a reading.
Amanda.
Oh, good.
All right. So, what's Amanda's sign?
Well, okay, so she wants a reading from you, and then her sign
Oh,
is
okay.
May 1st for
Oh,
Dwayne.
Taurus.
Cool. All right. Well, let me dive on in here, Amanda. And great to see you, Amanda. I know you're a faithful on our show, so I'm grateful to see you. All right, so let's just kind of I've pulled a card here. Let's set the intention that this card is going to give you the general overview of the energies that you're going to be experiencing between now and I'm going to say sort of the next well, we're doing this for the next month, right? So this is December. So this will be from now until the end of January. Oh my God, I love this. So you've got the 10 of Cups. And 10 of Cups is an evaluation of your life, but it's also, I like to say, this is like achieving the ideal. So, whatever the ideal is for you in terms of the goal that you're trying to reach right now, this is the card that says you're going to get it. But I am hearing that this month in particular, or this period of time in particular, it's not enough for you to manifest and then say, okay, universe, like bring it to me. I feel like for you, it's about laying the putting out the boundaries, laying the ground rules. I keep seeing it's not like you want to limit yourself. It's not about putting yourself in a box. It's more like saying to the universe or saying to the people in your life, no, 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 don't sit in this space because this is the space where spirit is going to come and drop my pile of money. Or this is the space where spirit is going to, bring my long lost sister into the mix. I feel like for you, it's about creating space in a physical way that allows you to tell the universe, this is, I've created the space. This is where you can drop off my present. This is where you can drop off what it is that I have asked for. So I also feel like he's going to talk about it astrologically, but from an energy perspective, I'm really drawn to the blue in this card. And I feel like the blue for you is about making sure that you are conveying your convictions. And I feel like this is convictions to yourself, like it's your own convictions. This isn't your convictions out in the world. This is what's going on within you. Conveying your convictions to yourself in a way that helps you to feel more resolute, more confident in I want to say it's kind of like bold and badass. Like I've commanded and demanded this and I know it's coming and so I'm going to be, a little bit cocky about it. I'm going to be a little bit like I know it's coming so I don't have to worry about this and I don't have to worry about that. Let me just continue to move forward on my path. I'm also being drawn to the fact that these two people here their backs are turned and they're waving. They're ostensibly waving to someone off in the distance. And what I feel this is representative of for you in the next and I don't feel like this is around Christmas. I actually feel like this is more January. There are going to be some surprise guests, surprise visitors that are coming up too, in particular. And I feel both of these guests are wanted. It's an exciting thing, but there is an element of the past that you're going to need to address or that's going to come to the surface. And I feel like this element of the past could be like you're so happy to see this person, but the last time you saw this person, there was some kind of falling out or there was some awkwardness or you knew that they were sick and you reached out but you didn't reach out as much as you could and you feel guilty about it, that kind of thing. It's kind of like there's going to be something from the past that needs to be addressed, and it's important for you, I feel, to not shy away from it, to maybe lead with that, get it out of the way, and then get on with the business of living, kind of thing. So I'm really excited about that for you. It feels like there's a lot of empowered momentum that's coming up and coming through for you, especially in January.
That sounds great. And so knowing that Amanda is a Taurus, um, really, I want to let her know that the focus for Taurus. Now, it's always hard for me to do these horoscopes because it's only your sun sign. If I knew your rising sign and all that stuff, I could really tell you in more detail. But the overall Taurus idea, it's about home, it's about family, it's about that kind of thing. So really, you're closing out the year with a focus on stability and home and security and those types of things. It's a really good time to revisit your financial goals and to think about what it is that you need to have worked out. Do it before the beginning of next year because, as you know, you like to get things done and have every dot, I dotted and T crossed. So just do it now before even the holidays happen for the most part, and New Year's and everything. And you're going to be on a good, really good place. And then also, I wrote down that the relationships deepen with this is not just everybody in your life. This is the people that share the same values as you, whether they're family members, loved ones, whomever they are. Maybe it's the two people that Stacy was talking about. Relationships will deepen, but it may start off from a shaky point that may have happened in the past. So those, I think, are the key elements for Taurus sun signs. Now, depending on your rising sign, you're going to have and your moon and all these different things. But I would suggest that everybody, especially Amanda, now that you know that, go and have your full horoscope done. You can do it free online. You can do it in Chat GPT or anything, and just say what this is my time of birth, my place of birth, and my date of birth, and tell me what my entire chart is, rising sign, moon, and 9 planets, and you will be amazed at what comes out because that's what you should be reading. When you read horoscopes, don't read your sun sign, you should read your rising sign because your sun sign is how the world sees you, but the rising sign is how you see the world. And so it will make a lot more sense for you. So I think that's it. Good luck. It sounds like it's going to be great for you, Amanda.
Yeah.
For her.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
love that you're pointing that out about the rising sign. I know I've said it before on this show, but I think it's important enough to repeat is that I am a Virgo sun, but I want to say probably close to 10 years ago now when I discovered the importance of the rising and I thought for a long time I was a Scorpio rising because I had been given that information incorrectly many years ago. And so I thought I was a Scorpio rising, but I didn't even really understand what that all meant. And when I discovered, oh no, you're a Libra rising, and here's what it means. Oh my God, like my whole world changed. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that explains a lot. And now I find that I live more in my Libra. Like I feel more like a Libra than I do like a Virgo. And on occasion,
Yeah, I
like I
feel like
will.
you're more. I feel like
Yes.
you're more of an air sign than an earth sign.
Oh, absolutely. And what's crazy about it is, I watch the YouTube readings just like everybody else, and I've got certain people that I follow for my own stuff. And it always is fascinating to me how there are 3 particular readers that I tune into where they hit on the right points about the Virgo, but there's a lot about the Virgo that I just skip through. I just go to this point, this point, and this point. But the Libra stuff, I watch it through and through and I watch it from beginning to end and it literally lays out what is transpiring in my world. So
Yeah.
I definitely am more connected to my rising sign at this
Isn't it
point.
amazing? And when you really discover that, when you go from being a regular person who's always heard about astrology and the horoscopes and you think it's that one thing, and then you realize that it's a multitude of things and it has to do with the actual movement of the planets and the way that gravity affects your body, that gravity affects your mother's womb when you're being born, like how the moon may have caused your mother to go into labor. Those types of things, when you figure that out and you realize there's an actual organic and scientific connection to astrology and the human condition.
Yeah.
It's pretty profound. And I also like to say, because I believe in duality, that I don't put any faith in it at all. But then I do. I do at times, and I do it in the moment. I don't just generally put it across that someone who is this sign is this and that. So, and again, because I know those details too, I know that just because one Leo is not the same as another Leo is not the same as another Leo, because of where
Yeah.
they were on the earth when they were born or what have you. So it's really interesting, but it is a duality for me. It's almost like astrology is everything and nothing.
Well, and that makes a lot of sense too, because it's about not giving away your power to anyone or
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
Don't give away your power to the gurus. Don't give away your power to the person next door. Don't give
Right.
away your power to astrology or a concept or a thing. The
Yeah.
power is within us. And
Yeah.
like anything else, I always say this about tarot, I say this about astrology. It's a tool. It's
Yeah.
one more tool in your toolkit that you can use to map out the picture of what's actually going on in your world so that you can be more empowered to make better choices for yourself based on what is showing up in your path. So, yeah, there are things about astrology, and that's the frustrating thing for me about astrology, just because, I'm an A type and I just want to know everything. The astrology piece drives me crazy because it doesn't really lay out exact specifics of what's going to happen, but it lays out the energies of what could happen. And when you look back
Right.
on it in hindsight, you go, oh, that's what this meant. That's what that meant.
Yeah.
That's how this played out in my life. So you can be prepared for something, but you
Right.
don't know exactly what that something is.
Well, that's what we were saying right at the beginning of the show, was that it's so hard to figure out what it is you want. And
Yeah.
so it's important to be open to things. And what's better than getting some kind of a clue of where to even start? If you're thinking like, what is my life about? Blah, blah, blah. You need a place to start. And sometimes people don't have that creative gene. I mean, they'll tell you themselves. They just don't have that desire to create something. And so they don't even know how to go about it. So sometimes things like astrology, tarot, gives you an idea to start with. Like, well, how are you feeling in your romantic life? How are you feeling in your career? And well, this is one option based on what the stars and the cards are saying to me. This is an option. Think about this option. And if it even isn't the right option, it still will allow you to get to what the right option is, because then you'll have the contrary to the right option in order
Yes.
to bounce it off of, you know?
Yes, I say that all the time to clients. I'm like, listen, don't discount something as being, well, that was a waste of time, because it's not really a waste of time. You are now one step closer to understanding what you don't want, which allows you to get closer to what you do want. And
Right.
that is the journey of life, the process of elimination, the
Hmm.
process of following your passions,
Yeah.
following that fire that is within you. And sometimes we got to clear the debris before we can actually get to that fire space. You're not
Yeah.
wrong, you're not bad, and you're not broken. It's just everybody's got a different path to exploring who they're choosing to be.
Hey, for someone who's been, I was in many group therapies in high school and before high school, even with the most unbelievable people you would never imagine, and got to see so many wild people, that especially people that you would look at and you wouldn't want to be around. You would be scared of them or whatever, and they ended up being the most loving, honorable, loyal people.
Yeah.
And it really made me feel like you've got to look beyond certain things,
Oh, yeah.
aesthetically especially, but you've got to look beyond the physical world. And when you do, there are things that are profoundly moving to your thought process, to your life, and to helping you simplify. I really think everybody, all the religions, when you boil it all down, it comes down to one little pearl of simplicity. Everybody wants the love, pain, heartache, blah blah blah. It all comes down to this little nugget of, it just is. It was, it's gone, it'll come back, it'll go, and that's, I think, what part of what this is, of what astrology is, what tarot is helping you spark your brain's process of understanding. And then I believe also in manifesting, because I believe we manifest every day. Like I have to
Oh, yeah.
manifest to go to the bathroom at 49 years old. You know what I mean? I'm like, I am going to go up there and I'm going to go to the bath. I don't feel like it, but I'm going to go pee because I've been drinking a lot of. I got to do it. I Gotta do
Yeah, absolutely.
and
Well,
I see
it's,
it
you know,
happen, and then pull
I would
myself.
challenge you to say it's not that we manifest and co-create every day. We manifest and co-create with every single thought, with every
Yeah,
single
absolutely.
breath and step that
Yeah,
we take. We are creation. We
yeah,
are creators. Like there's
right,
nothing we can do that doesn't. I'm moving my hand. I talk with my hands, and what am I generating right now and creating? I'm creating extra air movement.
right.
Like I'm creating that. I wasn't
Yeah,
thinking about that when I was talking with my hands and being all ridiculous and me.
right.
But I was creating something while I was doing that. So
Yeah,
that's a really good point when you say that and I've run into that a lot. There are a lot of people who say, well, I'm just not creative. I would challenge you and say, well, you're not creative in the ways that society tells you you're supposed to be creative because it's a label that has been placed on that. But there is
well,
creativity in numbers. There is creativity in the way that we love. There is creativity in the way you cut the grass. There's creativity
yeah.
in everything that we do. It's about being aware of that and then stepping into that intention.
Look at the Kama Sutra. You know what I mean? Somebody thought up all of that based on sexual positions, but I think one of the big issues with people, not issue because I hate to say it, even that, but I think people find it challenging to be creative in any way. Like they think, well, I couldn't imagine that I could become this or do that. Like I couldn't imagine that I could step out my door and take the steps toward becoming a banker or God only knows what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's just so not them. It's not been prescribed to them. And
Yeah.
then when they find out that, or hopefully they do, they find out that you can create literally anything you want in your head and make it happen. And hopefully
Yeah.
it's good for you and for other people and all of that. And that makes an outward movement. So it's that time of year, so that's why I'm getting all mushy. But it's also, I think, energetically, it happens that way because things get darker, things get colder. And so what do? We go inside and we start to, kind of hermit up a little bit and look at
Mm-hmm.
what's going on inside. Because
Yeah.
when you're in the summer and you're out and it's all about the skin, but this time it's about the heart, the organs, and keeping everything warm and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and I think about hibernation allows us rejuvenation.
Yeah,
And it's
definitely.
rejuvenation at a very different level. It's different than a recharge. It's a
Yeah,
complete rejuvenation. So when you come out of hibernation, when you come out of that winter space, you are a completely different version of yourself than you were because you hibernated, you rejuvenated, but you also integrated all of the wisdom, all of the lessons that you learned throughout that path, throughout that previous year or the previous seasons that you were in. And so we need that. That's been a topic that's been coming up a lot as well in the last couple of weeks with clients is understanding that we need the ebb as much as we need the flow. Yeah, we love the flow, but if you think about the ocean, if you were to remove ebb from the ocean, we would have no land because the water would eventually just keep flowing and it would take over all of the land that we live in, and then we would be in a water world and there would be
right.
parts of the ocean that no longer exist, and then there would be this land, right? And it's just, or this water. So we
We would
need
be two mermaids.
flow. Yes, exactly. We would be mermaids. We would
We would
be
be sitting
mermaids.
on a rock telling people their signs and doing reading tarot shells.
I love it. And Keone's going to be Scuttle the seagull. He's going to be
Keone's
Scuttle
Okay.
that.
the seagull. He's
Keone's
a little
that.
mermaid.
First of all,
Keone is
Stephanie,
that octopus
Stephanie
with the
would.
purple eyeshadow.
First of all, Stacy would not be a mermaid. She would be a siren. That's number
Yeah,
one.
Oh, I like it.
Okay.
You're right.
You matter of fact, you both would probably be sirens.
yeah. That's beautiful too. We'd be like,
Truth be
woo,
told.
woo, woo.
Yeah. That's so
Every
funny.
time I
Well,
think of sirens, I think of "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou."
Oh yeah.
you know what? I have still, after all these years, I have not seen that movie. And it's supposed to
Oh
be
my God,
such
you
an
should watch
amazing
that
movie.
tonight.
I
Watch it
know. I
tonight.
know. I've got clients after this, but as soon as I get that done, and it's been a recording day, so I got a bunch of stuff to do, but I
Don't
should throw
hold
that
your don't hold your breath, Dwayne. I'm still waiting for her to log into my Disney Plus that I gave her a month ago.
on to
Oh
watch
geez.
the Aging Anna or something. What was it called?
No,
Oh,
it was
Anna.
Agatha. It was
Oh,
Agatha.
Agatha.
Agatha. It
oh,
sounds
that's
so interesting. I can't wait to get it started. I
It was
truly,
Aging
truly.
Agent
It's
Annie.
my busy season. It's year in preview season. So cut me some slack. I'm
Oh, look
tuning
at
in
her.
and reading for people like for 7 hours a day. I'm like a vegetable at night.
Look at her throwing in the segue like a natural. You're
Yeah.
on TV. What's that?
What do you mean?
I'm just telling you what's going on in my world, dude.
I know, but you
Yeah.
know what? You've reached this level of professionalism where you throw in your promos or your segues without even knowing it.
Well, I am glad that it's being taken as such because there was an intention. I was literally saying to you, "Come on, dude. You know how this is for me every year. I'm a freaking vegetable."
Yeah. Plus, you and Dwayne decided to move. Well, Dwayne didn't decide to move, but we're not going to get into that. You guys all had to move.
Actually, I did decide to move. Yeah. It
No,
was a
I
hard
know,
decision.
I know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And no one picks to move towards the second half of the year. Usually, is that normal, or do people normally try to move over the summer or
Most people are moving
mid-year?
before, typically, most people move before September because I think a lot of the moving trend it revolves around kids and schools and school districts and getting them in. So it tends to be the more popular time that people move between, I want to say like the end of February, beginning of March, and into September. But by the end of September, nobody wants to move because they're all focusing on settling in school and stuff.
I
I
did
mean,
not
that
want to
doesn't
move.
affect me, so I don't care.
Yeah, who wants
I
to move
did
when it's
not.
cold?
It hit my gut that it was the right time, and I did it. And I'm so glad I did because now I'm able to really enjoy the holidays and had my birthday and Thanksgiving and all this great stuff and my friends and family. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing. I have a renewed just appreciation for all that was and all that still is. You know,
Oh, that's
so
beautiful.
it
I
is,
love
right?
that. Brings a tear to the eye. It brings a tear to the eye. No,
You
I
don't
think
have
that's
any more,
great.
do you?
For me, with my move, it was I knew it had been kind of a long time in coming, but I still didn't really have like a specific date in mind. And for me, it was August 1st. I received first thing in the morning. I received a text from my landlords, and they wanted to increase my rent by $700 a month. And I was like,
So,
okay, universe, like, I don't know where I'm going to get the money to move, but now's the time. Like,
yeah,
I'm not going to pay $3,200 a month to live
right.
in this. Like, I could live in the fucking Taj Mahal for that. So I might as
Exactly.
well make the move now, make the leap. And
You could get
I
a nice
really believe it
efficiency
was
on
the right
Fifth
time.
Avenue for that. Yeah,
What's
so
that?
you go. I said you could get a nice efficiency on Fifth Avenue in New York for that price.
Oh, I
You know,
know. Like, it's crazy.
crazy. But yeah, no, same thing with me. I had a gut feeling, and it was like, you know what? Doesn't seem like it's at all the convenient time to do
No.
this. And I made it happen so smooth, so quick, without drama, without problems. Just amazing. I drove a damn thing, a trailer on my. I had a hitch installed. I drove my trailer 6 hours on the highway, which was scary because all I could do was imagine this thing popping up and just killing everybody. you know? So for 6 hours, I was living this hell of like, this thing's going to come off. It's going to be like a movie with,
Oh.
Bruce Willis or something. And then finally I made it. And it was like the most, the most relaxing feeling of it when it was done. I was like, thank God that's over. But now I
Yeah.
have a Hitch for Life. That's the name of my new album. It's a hitch on there. I can anytime I need to pull a bunch of shit around, call
You
me.
got
You
it.
know
So I'll know who to call next time I'm going to move cross country. You can help me
exactly.
move.
Yeah, exactly. Across town, I'm willing to across town. I will
That's
never
so
drive
funny.
again more than 2 hours. That was scary.
Oh yeah. Well, that was one of the reasons why I chose to go the route that I mean, moving cross country is expensive, just period. End of
Yeah,
story. But there are, a number of different ways that you can approach it. And when I looked at all the different ways, I decided that the idea of having to drive, 4 days and having to lug the fur babies in and out of hotels and being in a car for 12 hours a day and figuring out pee breaks and how to, it was so stressful in my mind that it made me want to vomit in my mouth every single time. So I was like,
yeah,
okay, it's going to be expensive anyway. I'm going to set it up where I ship my car and we fly, and we all fly. And I told the fur babies, you're all gonna have a soul journey. We're all on a soul journey here. It's gonna be wonderful soul growth. Y'all need
I'm
to be
imagining
prepared.
you in the airport and everybody like, look at this crazy bitch. We're
Oh
talking.
yeah, I mean we had our convos. I had crystals in all their little bags and stuff. I mean, I was on it. They were drugged. They were riding the magic bus. Like I made sure that everyone was going to get through this as
Yeah.
best as possible, because I was like, this is crazy. Like 4 days of stress versus 1 day, which ended up being 2 days of stress because we ended up getting waylaid. We got stuck in Seattle, and we weren't able to
Oh,
get a flight out in Seattle. So we had kind of a surprise experience there, and a surprise event. I swear to God, it's going to be a book or a movie or something, that my experience was insanity. But at the same time, don't regret a thing. And they did have their soul growth. They absolutely did. I feel that I know this sounds crazy, but they have a different sense of themselves. They're more confident. And I
yeah.
feel like a lot of it has to do with the fact that they had to go through hell with their mama to move to the desert.
Yeah, exactly. And now they're like, oh, this is good.
Oh, they love it. They get to be outside every single freaking day. They're like, this is paradise. We love it.
Speaking of TV shows, I could imagine in the future when, of course, they make a Lifetime or TV movie of this show, Sandra Bullock would play you, and
Oh,
Bradley
really?
Cooper would play me, and then we'd have Idris Elba would be Keone.
Keone.
And
Ooh, Idris is beautiful. Delicious.
is that good with you, Keone?
That's perfect.
All right.
Oh, you know who else
You know,
could
I got
play
to
you?
complain about. You
Either
could have,
that or Billy Porter. You choose.
you know what? See,
No, 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 no. You know who could play you?
Wayne
The
Brady,
guy,
I know.
the
Oh, Wayne
guy
Brady.
in the Marvel, he plays the. He's big. He's huge. He did a TV show. Oh my God, why can't I think of the show? Oh my God, that man is delicious. He's so delicious. Anyway, that's who I would choose for Keone, just because it's
Yeah.
fun.
Well,
What the
now
hell
I
is
want
his
to see
name?
this big, delicious man.
You do. You need to see it.
Let's
I wish
see.
I could remember his name. The
What's he
show was
from?
on like 4 or 5 years ago. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay. Yeah, tell me, and I'll put his name in, and we'll find out what his sign is, and we'll see which one of us is most compatible with him.
Yeah, that sounds great. I love that. Oh,
I
Agatha
love.
All Along is also a Marvel show. I didn't know that. Defenders,
Yeah.
Iron Fist, Marvel, Cloak and Dagger, Inhumans. I mean, I've seen most of these things. You'd think I'd remember his name, not Blade.
Oh, the character's name?
Oh my God, why is it not showing up? Oh, this is going to drive me crazy. And I think the actor's name is Mike something or other.
Mike.
I know this is ridiculous, right?
Mike.
Like,
No.
why can't I think of his name? But he's huge. Like,
What's the name of the show?
I can't think of it to save my life. But Kristen Ritter, I think, is also in it.
Oh.
Maybe that'll help me.
Kristen Ritter show. I love her. She's not related to John Ritter.
She isn't? I thought she was his daughter.
No, she's not related to him, but his son looks just like him. What new show is she in? It's called Orphan Black?
No, but that's a fantastic show.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that, oh my God, you have to watch that.
Jessica Jones.
So I'm looking up her filmography. So let's see what's coming
She's
up.
really great. She was the B in Apartment B or something like that.
Well, she also was in Breaking Bad, and I just cried my eyes out with her role in Breaking Bad.
She actually works with the agency that I work with.
Oh, really? That's so cool.
Yeah. She's from my area, so she ended up working with my really good friend who was her agent for a while. And when she first started out, and we all thought she was John Ritter's daughter.
So
Jessica Jones.
I'm gonna do a little psychic stuff myself. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
It's for next year. Here's my psychic wheel, and the choices are The Black Feather gets married, Dwayne goes celibate, or Keone wins the lottery. What's most likely to happen? Let's see.
All right.
Oh shit. Stacey gets
I
married. I
think the
don't think so.
celibacy is pretty.
You know I'm not interested in that.
Yep.
Oh, it's
Oh,
Dwayne
Dwayne
goes
celibate.
celibate. Oh,
I was
wow.
hoping for
Oh,
that one.
damn.
Yeah, I need to. I need to.
Isn't that crazy though? If you think about it, he would go celibate before I win the lottery or you get married. So it kind
Of
of,
course.
right.
Oh
Luke
yeah.
Cage.
Oh
Mike
God, he's gorgeous.
Coulter.
God.
Yeah.
Luke Cage.
Oh my.
Mike.
This, I think, Keone, is who you need to be.
Holy
Oh,
Christ.
Or who needs
Mike.
to be you, I should say. Who needs to play you?
Let's
Jesus.
see.
Wasn't that like
Oh
pulling
my
teeth? I could not for the life of me
God. Yeah.
remember this
Oh my God,
guy.
he's beautiful.
Oh,
That
he is a hunk of delicious.
Now let's see.
that
When's
poor,
his
poor
birthday?
guy.
So
He's
he's
August
August
26th. He's a
26th.
Virgo. He's a Virgo.
Yeah.
So he's really good. Oh, I love him now. He's my
Yeah.
new. He's my new sex mentor. No.
What?
Yeah. I'm not a fangirl about a lot of people, but
Yeah.
he melts my butter. And so does Chris Pine.
Yeah.
OMG.
Yeah.
Chris
See, I think
Pine.
Chris Pine is really handsome, but I think he's like 3 feet tall. Which I'm
No,
not
he's
saying.
like 6
I like
feet.
tall people too. How 6 feet?
He's 6 feet. Chris Pine, he's
Oh.
6 feet. Yeah.
Oh well, then we can get along well. Well, let him know I'm available.
No. Put up your dukes.
Hey.
I'm going to fight you for him.
You want to hear something? I started on a dating app, the one for the gay people where it's for relationships and not just to hook up,
Yeah.
And guess who
Yeah,
I matched?
okay, that doesn't exist, but go ahead.
Well, I didn't match with him, but he came up. Was Andy Cohen. I couldn't believe it.
Oh my God, seriously. Wow.
Yeah, he came up, and I was like, hell yeah, bam, because he's so hot.
Sorry, audience. Dwayne and Stacy are obviously in heat at the end of the.
He's a Gemini. No, we're still talking about
completely
signs.
devolved
We're
here.
talking about hot people signs.
There you go.
In the next show, we're going to talk about male endowment as compared to their sign. That's what we'll talk
Oh
about.
yeah. I'll tell you what.
Someone else
Look out, Pisces.
someone else feels the same way as me with Chris Pine. Jen. Yes, I love Chris Pine. I know his eyes are just like, oh my God. And I watched him in like I'm a Star Trek fan, so of course I loved him as Captain Kirk. But interestingly enough, it wasn't like I'm not like, oh my God, have to have you with that. I just like his character and the way that he represents the character. But when he was in Dungeons and Dragons, oh my God. And I mean, he's been in like a number of different things. I watched I think it was a Netflix or an Amazon Prime movie with him in it as well. And he has a little bit of the graying hair. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what the hell?
What about John Hamm? Do you like John Hamm? I love him.
He doesn't like my fire in that way. I like to watch his acting, but he doesn't, he doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of losing it with him. I guess I used to like
Chris
him a lot.
Pine messages Stacy, the odds of her getting married might move up on that wheel.
Well, I think Chris Pine is already married, so
yeah, because that's stopped people before.
He's up well.
Yeah.
That's not how I roll, but
No, I know
I don't want to be married, so I'm like, I'm not interested in that.
She's like not even Chris Pine.
But this guy, if this guy showed up at my door and he said, let me take you out. Oh my God. Like,
hey, you guys, our time is up. I have to run because I have a steak waiting for me. I want to tell you guys, this has been a really fun episode that you cannot believe. I think that the viewers are going to tell. I think we might win a Viewer's Choice Award this year. I don't know. But Stacy, tell us where you are and where to get in touch with you. And also, we're going to have to set up our thing. So let's text about our quarterly reading.
Yeah, the quarterly astrology that we're going to record. Absolutely. So, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. You can find me on Facebook, Insta, YouTube, The Black Feather Intuitive. I am in my year-end preview and year-end transformation season right now. If you want to get a sneak peek of what's coming your way for 2025 on a personal level, or if you want to understand how you're going to be transforming into the person you want to be this year, check out those two services. They are limited time. Once January 31st comes around, I stop doing them for the year. So get in there quickly. Also, if you're just looking for a little bit of community, click on, actually, you can't click on any link here. Look for my Black Feather community. It is completely free, and it's all the support and guidance you can handle. And just want to say happy holidays to everyone who celebrates, and happy new year to everyone. And let's bring this 2025 in with a bang.
Yeah, I agree. Let's bang all the way up until the first of the year. And I think
And then we'll bang more on the other side.
yeah. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. This has been another live episode of In the Stars with Dwayne and Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. We'll see you next time.
Ciao.
Keep looking up. I guess I'll say it.
Oh, yeah. Keep looking up.